I've received some emails from some of the people that have been reviewing some of the tutorials, especially on version 5 of Edius, asking if I could do a tutorial on how I make my opening montages. And what they're referring to, I'll maybe just open up the program here, is specifically is this montage that I did for some of the programs when I was developing some of the tutorials on Edius version 5. I was using a program where I had this opening montage for some of my videos, and some people saw that and asked, well, okay, how are you doing that? I'd like to know how we can do that in Edius. Well, truth be known, I made this in After Effects, and really in version 5, something like this was not even possible to do inside Edius alone. You had to go out to other programs to create these types of opening montages. With the release of version 6 of Edius, it is becoming more and more possible to do this type of thing within Edius itself. With the development of the masking tool, in working in combination with the layouter tool, we can approximate some of these same types of montage effects in Edius alone. We no longer really have to go out to a third-party program like After Effects to create these. We can, for the most part, do something very similar within Edius itself. This year, as I'm working on version 6 tutorials, this is kind of the opening montage that we've been working with for some of our videos on Cambodia. And so I thought maybe we could just try and redo this one in Edius and see how it turns out. I actually did create this in After Effects as well. But as I've taken a look at the masking tool of version 6 and as well knowing what the layouter tool can do, I think that we can come very close to doing something like this same thing in Edius alone. At least we can give it a try. Let's go to a new sequence here and give it a go. I think I've brought together some of the elements that I used when I did this in After Effects and brought them into this folder here in our bin. Our kind of a background shot here is a shot that I took in Cambodia one evening as the sun was setting. We've got a nice sunset shot with some sugar palms being silhouetted by the sun there, and it makes a nice backdrop for our montage. And the first shot in our montage is this one of a group of men in a discussion group in a remote village in Cambodia. And as we drop it onto the next layer, layer 2 of our video track, of course, when we first bring it on, it's full screen. And so what we want to do is, first of all, reduce the size. And if you have reviewed the tutorial that we did on the layouter tool, you'll know how to do this. But let's go ahead and do it again. Let's go into our layouter tool. Just right-click on the video clip that you want to manipulate to resize, and go to the layouter tool. And if you remember, all we need to do is grab any corner of this and start dragging it in, and this will resize our video. And we can also position it just by grabbing a hold of it and bringing it down. And as we look at it, that's probably about the right size that we want to work with. So let's hit OK for now. All right, and then the next thing to do is go to our effects palette and for a video filter called mask, and drag that onto our clip. And you'll see our information palette pops up with the mask highlighted there. Let's just double click on that, and that brings up our mask tool. And now we can start masking out the outer edges of this clip. Let's choose the ellipse tool and draw kind of an oval shape that captures, the portion of the video that we'd like to still see. And once you've defined your parameters, you're not stuck with that. You can move it around if you need to. You can make it smaller if you like. All right, and then let's go and over here check our filter, the outside filter, and bring down the opacity to 0. You can just highlight the whole area and type in 0. Then you'll see that we've just masked out everything except the area that we've defined with our oval. Now it kind of looks like we've lost our sunset here, but in reality, if we were to close this, we'd see that the video layer 1 is still there, and it's just that we're not seeing it when we have our mask tool open. Okay, but now our mask has got some very harsh edges, and so we want to kind of smooth that out. We want to make those edges a lot softer. And we can do that over here under the Edge tool. And so let's check softness. And then we can define the width of our softness over here by adding to the pixels. And let's maybe just go and type 200 to start with. And see how that looks. Looks like it maybe has given us just a little bit too much back, and we're starting to now see the edges, the sharp edges of the rectangular video clip. And so let's see, maybe let's choose the inside and see what that does. And that looks a little bit more like what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and hit OK and see how that looks together with our background. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Now what we might want to do is go back to our layouter tool, and temporarily we see the whole clip again. But that's okay. All we really want to do at this point is maybe just add a little bit of motion to the clip. You'll see that the video clip itself is kind of already a little bit of a pan, but we'd like to, for this montage, give this video clip just a little bit of a motion to it. So let's, using our keyframe, let's give this a little bit of motion. Let's start the video clip more over to the right and have it move towards the left a little bit. We could do that either by dropping this down and making our move here, or we can go over and look for our position tool over here. And on the x-axis, let's just drag this up a little bit. So we're moving our clip over. And then say about 6 or 7 seconds down into it, we can define our second set of keyframes, or just simply start scrolling this over to the left, and that will automatically set our new keyframes. All right, and now as we play this over time, we'll see that that clip is moving across the screen a little bit, just giving our montage a little bit more feel of motion. And so let's hit OK to accept those changes, and go back now to see what it looks like all together. Okay, that is looking pretty good. What we might do, drop that down a little bit. Maybe that's something that we need to do in the mask tool. Let's maybe just drop this down in the mask tool itself a little bit. Now, as we look at this, we notice that at the very beginning of the clip itself, we do see the harsh edge on the left-hand portion of the video clip. But as we move it across, we see that it becomes soft there. But then near the end of the clip, we start to see the edge on this side. And so if we want to try and avoid some of that, what we can do is go back into our mask tool and actually move the mask along at the same time that the video is moving along. So let's use our keyframes here as well. Let's choose our mask and set our keyframes there at the beginning, and using our mouse, just point to it, and let's bring this mask over and position it so that we don't see that harsh edge as we start our video clip. And then as we go across to the edge portion, we can also position that, and then we can reposition our mask tool. And I don't recommend grabbing it with your mouse to reposition it, because what might happen is you may move it vertically some, and then you have your mask kind of going at a diagonal a little bit. So if you're going to reposition, I would reposition on the x-axis using this here and just drag this down. And that way you don't have to worry about bumping it up vertically. Okay, let's maybe take a look at how that has turned out. And that's looking a lot better. It kind of keeps its soft edge all the way across now, moves along with the motion that we've defined inside of the layouter tool. All right, let's go after a couple more elements of our montage here. Let's see, I think we have one of the boy here. And sometimes what I do when I'm working on these montages, I will actually take the video clip into a scratch sequence first and maybe do a slow motion effect on it and save that out as a separate file. And then as I work with them for the montage, I'm working with the slow-mo rather than just the regular motion speed. And that may not be for every clip, but for some clips it works a little better just to kind of prepare them a little bit before you start working with them for a montage. Okay, so let's bring this shot of the boy in onto the third layer on our timeline, the third video layer. And so now what we need to do is first of all, again, go into Layouter. Let's right click on our clip, go to Layouter, and I want to have this boy quite a ways over to the right hand side. And it's as he kind of turns and looks to the camera that I want to start using the shot. So we'll, I think for our montage, we actually start out the shot a little smaller, and then over time, we kind of slowly zoom in on the shot. So let's start our zoom right about here where he starts to look at the camera. We'll do our full keyframe set there. And then over a space of about 4 or 5 seconds, let's enlarge that image so it looks like a slow zoom into the image. You notice as we start to do this again, Edius places the new keyframes where we have our timeline cursor. And as we watch that over in our preview monitor, I think the boy might be just a little bit too far into the shot. Let's see what we can do about moving that. Let's bring our timeline cursor back to lock into our first set of keyframes and just position him over a little bit. And now as we play that out, it looks like it's in a better position there. Okay, so let's hit OK and now go to our effects bin and pick up our mask, drop that onto our clip, and open up our mask. And again, we'll use the ellipse tool, but this time we'll do kind of more of a horizontal oval of his face. And if we need to, just kind of reposition that a little bit. And again, we'll choose 0 for our filter and choose the outside there. And now we want to go in and add about, let's try 200 again on our softness. And that, and as we look over here, we see that we're seeing the harsh edge at the top and bottom. Let's maybe make our oval just a little smaller. Just bring it in. Move it up just a little bit. Maybe even make it a little smaller. That's a little better there. And if we want to, we can maybe add more softness to it. Okay, let's see how that looks as we play it out. And it kind of pops on there. We don't want that. Let's move it over too. And remember, we don't really start the zoom until he's turning to look. So let's maybe start our clip there. Bring it over some more. Let's turn our mix channel on and do a dissolve up. See how that looks. Okay, I can see that we're losing some definition on the left-hand side of his face and have lots to spare over here. Let's maybe just open up our mask again and maybe move this over a little bit so we have a little bit more definition on that side of his face. Try that. Okay, as I look at this, I'm seeing just a little bit too much of the edge there still. Let's go back in and maybe just make this even just a little bit smaller. Maybe too much. Try that. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, and in order to add more clips to our montage, we're going to need to add some video tracks. So let's right-click on the video area here on the left-hand side and go to Add and add V-tracks to above. And we're really going to need probably another 4 or 5. Let's go with 5 new tracks. And in order to see those, we might have to lift that up a little bit. For this tutorial, we won't go to the trouble of adding all of the clips, but let's just maybe add 1 or 2 more. And let's drag that down to track 4 on our timeline, our video track 4. And right click, go to Layouter, and we want to have her more over on the left-hand side. And I think she's, and I don't think we need to resize this shot. I think it works fine just the way it is. We could crop this off if we wanted to, because we're not going to really use that. But since we're going to be using the mask tool, it's not that critical. Let's now go over to Effects, find our mask tool, drop it on, and open it up. And again, we'll use our oval shape and just mask out everything else. Click the outside filter, make this 0%, and start adding our softness. Let's go ahead and type in 200 again. Seems to work pretty good. And it might be just fine the way it is. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And again, we'll want to dissolve that up. So let's open up our track, click on our mix tool, and slide that down. And we see that the more video tracks that we add here, the more difficulty Edius is having in playing this in real time. But if you've got a fairly fast computer and you're not running video capture software in the background to make tutorials, this will run a little better, even though you're working with 4 or 5 levels of video. Now, she might be just a little bit large. She's starting to kind of obscure the shot that we have running through the center here. So let's maybe go back to our mask tool and maybe just make that just a little bit smaller. We don't want to lose her face. Let's try just bringing that up a little bit. Now, if you want to, you can shut off the proportional where the ratio is fixed and just move one. And this way, as you move the horizontal perspective of this oval, you won't be affecting the height at the same time. Now you can move them independently of each other. Again, that's this little button here, fix ratio. You can toggle it on or off. Okay, let's take a look at that. That, I think, is working a little better. Okay, so you get the idea. It may not be as precise as what you can do in After Effects, but at least this gives you the opportunity to do this type of thing, even though you may not have a copy of After Effects. You can still work with masks inside Edius and create some of these nice montages for the opening section of your video or the lead into your video leading up to your title.